I also spoke to a recruiter at Amazon who not only worked at Amazon but also worked at Uber for several years. So, two very big, very cutting edge tech companies. And the first thing that she told me was right off the bat, everyone should negotiate. There's a lot of benefit for you if you are able to negotiate effectively, and it's not viewed in a negative light or as if you're causing a lot of unnecessary pain or trouble for the recruiter or for the company. It's how things operate in the tech world. It's kind of expected. She said that salary negotiation and any kind of negotiation on salary, bonus, or equity, it should all happen at the offer stage and not before that. A lot of the candidates that she worked with, or a lot of the candidates her other peers worked with, they would openly reveal right on the first call, here's what I'm looking for. Here's the salary or the range that I'm looking for. Here's what I got paid in the past. And in those circumstances, the recruiter usually wouldn't prevent you from shooting yourself in the foot, which is what you're doing by being too transparent early on in the process. So her recommendation was be really thoughtful about when you are revealing information and only do it when you actually have leverage. One other really interesting thing that came up was when she worked at Amazon, she told me that Amazon would frequently let go of candidates that they thought were unreachable. And what that meant was there were certain companies like Meta, for example, that for the same level and profile of engineer, it was well known that Meta paid significantly more than Amazon. And so in those cases, if Amazon saw that this candidate is also interviewing at Meta or likely to get an offer from Meta, they would not try that hard in the negotiation, or they would let the candidate go, meaning let them take the Meta offer, which is super interesting to hear about. And that made me think of two different things. Number one is, again, you don't want to reveal information which can hurt you. You want to be in the driver's seat. You want to be the one who can accept or reject any company. You don't want the company to make that decision on your behalf. And so be careful about revealing what other companies you're talking to, because then Amazon or any other company might come to the same conclusion and say, hey, it's not even worth going after that candidate because they're talking to too many companies, or they're talking to a particular company that we can't compete with. The other takeaway for me here is that you want to communicate to the recruiter that compensation is only one part of what you care about when it comes to the job. And it may not be true. Like, it may be the case that you only really care about compensation, but you want to communicate to the recruiter that, hey, compensation, learning, the people around me, these are all really important factors to the job I end up picking. So the idea, again, is to stay vague and ambiguous so that way the company cannot make a decision on your behalf because they think they know what you value. You want to just keep it vague. Hey, I value all these things. And once we get closer to the end of the process, then I'll be able to tell you more about what I think based on what I've learned about the company. So be very careful about what information you're exposing when. The other thing she said that was interesting is around the danger of getting starstruck and getting your heart set on one company and giving them too much power. So there's a story here of how Uber was opening up offices in Latin America. They were expanding in Latin America. They were hiring a bunch of people in Brazil and Mexico and so on. And she said that in the time of her hiring and recruiting out of LATAM, no one negotiated. And the reason is because people were so desperate to work at Uber. They were paying fairly well. Everyone had heard of Uber. Uber had raised billions of dollars, and everyone just wanted to be part of that ship, part of that company. And so the advice here is that even if you really care about a company and you think that they're going to give you the best job and the best package in the world, you should wait, understand the market, figure out if there's an opportunity for them to adjust, and then you can make an educated decision about asking for more money or not. The final topic we talked about was women and negotiation. And her message was very clear. Women should negotiate. There is a bias where women feel like them negotiating will lead to a backlash against them, or they'll be labeled as troublesome, more so than men. And one shocking thing she told me is that throughout her time working with many engineers, she never saw a woman engineer negotiate. And in fact, many women engineers would even lowball themselves and put a low number on the table that they would be comfortable accepting an offer at, even though the actual range, the compensation range for the job could have been substantially higher. So her advice was be bold. Don't hold yourself back from negotiating just because you think it might be perceived poorly. Get the data, be bold, and find allies. Find people who can advocate for you and give you really thoughtful advice. One of the issues that she commented on is that oftentimes a woman engineer would come, and then almost everyone they worked with would be a man. Every person on the interview panel would be male. The hiring manager would be a man. And that would lead to a environment where they didn't feel comfortable asking for more or asking for additional compensation or more questions. And so be bold, find allies, and optimize for what you think is the best job for you.